You're not supposed to do this in my business. I'm up here doing something that nobody else in this business has the balls to do.
Are you crazy? Is that your problem?
I'm telling you something that you need to know. I'm trying to explain to you what you're seeing. You don't understand what you're seeing. I am publicly flogging a network.
So if you've watched Dave Chappelle's recent stand-up special titled Unforgiven, and you find yourself wondering whether or not you've missed something, like, say, the comedy, for instance, you haven't. As you might have picked up from the lead-in to this video, the purpose of that stand-up special was to help Dave Chappelle make a plea to the public. He's looking for people to help pressure Viacom and CBS into paying him for streaming The Chappelle Show on their platforms. The problem is that he doesn't have a legal leg to stand on, and he knows it.
Secret to success is right here in our new little booklet, How to Make More Money Without Using Your Money.
He signed bad contracts with Viacom CBS, the parent company of Comedy Central, back when he was 28, right? He would have you believe that he was this naive kid who was taken advantage of by these evil industry people, right? Even though he's been working in that very industry since he was 14.
You say what?
He's well known in Hollywood as, they used to call him the pilot boy, because he had all of these scripts and shows that he was presenting to producers and executives in Hollywood to try to get various TV shows aired, films produced, whatnot. So that wasn't the first time that he was in the room with producers and executives discussing contracts.
You know, sometimes I'll be on a business call, right? You know, like with a lawyer or something. You know, my lawyers be white, and
That was from Dave Chappelle's stand-up special, Killing Them Softly, that was filmed 20 years ago, back in July of 2000. That would have made Dave Chappelle 27 years old at the time that was filmed, just prior to signing the contract for The Chappelle Show. Interesting, right? But what's more interesting is the assertion that he makes in Unforgiven that he's the only person in his business, comedy business or entertainment business, I guess we're supposed to assume, that has the balls, per his term, to do what he's doing, to try to publicly shame. He calls it flogging, but it's basically public shaming. He's not the first person to do that. Have we forgotten about Monique already?
When I first said, let's boycott Netflix, I said for gender bias and color bias. Because when Chris Rock and Dave Chappelle received their offers, they were $20 million, and they were very public about the offers. When Amy Schumer initially received her offer, it was $11 million. She went back to Netflix and said, I shouldn't get what the legends are getting, but because I'm a woman, I should get more. And Netflix agreed, and they then gave her $2 million more. That's where the $13 million comes from. So in the discussion with Netflix, Robbie Prohl, who was vice president of comedy, when he was speaking with my husband, Sidney, and our attorney, Ricky Anderson, they were saying, you know, speaking in reference to the deal, and they wanted to know, how did you come up with that number? How is it that Monique gets paid $126 less than Amy Schumer would get paid? And Robbie Prohl said, well, we go by what we anticipate you'll do.
Right.
So then Sidney said, well, based off of Monique's resume, you see that what she's done. I know, but we don't go off of resumes. He said, well, then may I ask how you came up with Amy Schumer's number? He said, well, she sold out Madison Square Garden twice, and she had a hit movie in 2017. Sidney then said, is that not Amy Schumer's resume? And then this was the response.
Radio silence.
It got dead silent.
My question is, where was Dave Chappelle back when Monique first called for a boycott of Netflix because of what was going on with her.
You know, Joe Rogan, this is not the first time I've tasted penis. I've had several in my line of work.
She called on people to boycott Netflix back in 2018. Dave Chappelle signed his multi-deal contract with Netflix in 2016, right? So where was he?
Think about it.
If he, quote unquote, understands what it feels like to be publicly flogged.
Doesn't feel good to be flogged publicly. Oh, believe me, I know. I know exactly how that feels.
Where was he when everyone was ridiculing Monique?
All my life I had to fight. I had to fight my daddy, I had to fight my uncles, I had to fight my brothers.
Given Dave Chappelle's apparent standing with Netflix, he could have easily spoken up on Monique's behalf. They both went at Netflix on principle, right? Dave Chappelle made a call to someone once he found out that the Chappelle Show was streaming on Netflix and he wasn't getting paid.
What kind of bullshit is this?
Monique called for a boycott because of the lowball offer that she received from Netflix after, all of her colleagues and counterparts had been given these multi-million-dollar deals.
People think I made a lot of money for Chappelle's Show. When I left that show, I never got paid. They didn't have to pay me because I signed the contract. But is that right? I found out that these people were streaming my work and they never had to ask me or they never had to tell me. Perfectly legal because I signed the contract. But is that right? I didn't think so either. That's why I like working for Netflix, because they pay me my money, they do what they say they're gonna do, and they went above and beyond what you could expect from a businessman. They did something just because they thought that I might think that they were wrong. And I do. I think if you are fucking streaming that show, you're fencing stolen goods. They stole that from me. They just took it.
Who'd you talking about?
I believe that they gave me a raw deal because this fucking industry is a monster. It's the same monster that these Me Too bitches was trying to tell you about. But they hate the monster for how it fucks. And I hate that monster for how it eats. But my God, man, it's the same monster.
When Monique was complaining about the monster and how it eats, Dave was nowhere to be found. Is that coincidence, sudden enlightenment, or selfish convenience? Or perhaps Dave's gotten to the point where he feels as though the rules don't apply to him unless they work for him. He signed the contract. Nobody forced him. He's an adult.
You punk ass on there begging and shit, nigga. Did I raise you to be a beggar? Fuck no, you pull your damn nuts up, nigga. You swallow that shit, you take it like a man.